I'm Onslow the Undead. This is Brainfood Reviewed. Wow, Post is here early today. Come on in.
Well, hello there, Mr. Onslow. How are you?
Aww.
Hanging
Have a
in
seat.
there,
Have a
see?
seat.
So
I am
all in
hanging
one
in.
Piece.
I am mostly all in one piece.
Lovely. That's lovely.
Lovely. So, guess what I'm going to review tonight,
What are
right
you
now?
reviewing today?
Night of the Living Dead. See, now this is the film that really started it all, the whole modern zombie movement. Now, were there zombie films before? Yes, there were zombie films before. White Zombie, I Walked with a Zombie, some of these other zombie films, and some of them were good. But they were not Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
This was the flesh-eating, scary, brainless, you know, not us, but, you know, the modern zombie stuff. The Walking Dead kind of zombies, things like that.
Yeah.
So, somehow, for Night of the Living Dead, I came up with 5 worst things about the movie. Are there 5 worst things about Night of the Living Dead?
I'm sure you could find a couple things.
Well, see what you think about these.
Okay.
Number 1, all the helpless females. Why are there so many helpless females in Night of the Living Dead?
I think that's just a trademark of a lot of horror movies. I think
Is
there's
it?
always a damsel in distress. She always trips over nothing. There's always something that happens.
She always-
I think that's just the thing. I think that
She freaks out when her brother gets eaten by a zombie in the graveyard. I mean, come on.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Exactly. Shut up, Johnny. Stop it.
Oh, her hair though.
That was some good hair.
amazing. That's some
It
good
was amazing
hairspray.
hair. Amazing hair.
I need the name of that stylist.
Number 2, I was not a huge fan of the ending of the movie.
Why were you not a huge fan of the ending?
This movie was not really a post-apocalyptic movie, what we've come to associate with modern zombie films. At the end of the movie, like, they're wrapping it all up. They're killing off all the zombies. And then they kill the one guy, which I didn't like. They killed a guy. I mean, I know it was supposed to be an accident and there's, you know, deeper meaning in there, but I just didn't really like it so much.
It's supposed to make you think.
They were killing off all the zombies. How am I supposed to feel? I'm a zombie.
What are we supposed to do? We have feelings too. you
Yeah,
know.
so, but anyway. So I just wasn't a huge fan, I guess, of that one little bit. So along with number 2, there was the needless death of Ben. I mentioned, you know, Ben gets killed at the end. I didn't want Ben to get killed at the end. I wanted him to
I
survive.
didn't want Ben to get killed either. I thought that he was. I felt sure that he was going to make it. He had a
I
plan.
did too.
He was motivated.
Now, I will say
Then
that
he
was
was
clever.
gone.
I will say it was clever. Like, that was something you weren't expecting.
It
So that was
definitely-
clever, and you know that.
It definitely caught you by surprise.
Yeah. So, number 4. It would have been nice to see it done in color. I would like to have seen it in color as well. I think the black and white added something to the story, but you know,
Definitely.
what could it have been if it was in color? I think there are colorized versions out there. I just haven't watched them.
Possibly.
Maybe
they
I
have
should see them.
the Technicolor.
Technicolor.
They do the.
Yeah.
They do it in
With like
color.
the brights and reds and greens
Yeah.
and yellows and stuff.
Yeah, Bell Book and Candle was done in
Ah.
Technicolor, actually.
Very nice. Number 5, worst thing. I really felt like the ending of the movie, it kind of turned in like a documentary style thing toward the end. It was just, it was like a shift from the way the story was going, and I didn't think it transitioned well into, you know, that kind of
Right.
where they're doing all the news articles and they're
Right.
interviewing the people and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I definitely think that transition was a little rough there.
it was. But this is a classic zombie movie. This is a
definitely
classic film.
classic. This was one of my very first zombie movies ever.
Probably a lot of people's first zombie movie. So now we get to the 5 best things about the movie. The perfect actors for the perfect characters. So the characters they had some actors that played those parts to a T, I thought. Ben was good. Mr. Cooper, Barbara, I thought was fantastic. Even Johnny, who didn't last very long, but he was really good.
Poor Johnny.
So, I know, terrible. But I thought they were good actors fit for those parts. Even though it was an independent film, it's hard to get the perfect actor for the perfect part. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was good.
Definitely.
The cemetery and the creepy isolated house, like it's perfect setting for a horror movie. And actually, I've seen that same cemetery used in some more modern zombie films in color. It's not as creepy.
No?
In the black and white, it was actually creepier. If it was in color, I think it wouldn't have been quite as good.
The black and white gives a whole new mysterious feel to it.
As much as I would like to have seen it in color, I think it would have. I think the cemetery wouldn't have been as creepy, and that isolated farmhouse, I don't think it would have been as creepy either.
Right.
So. There were some fantastic camera angles and things that they did to give it a creepy, off-balance feel, I think.
I do agree with that one. They did have some nice angles going on.
Yeah. Let's see. The way the film presents what's happening on radio as well, like they're listening to the radio and then they watch the TV a little bit and it kind of mirrors what's going on. So you don't actually have to see what's happening out there. You hear them talk about it and then they discuss it amongst themselves in the farmhouse.
Right.
So I like that. I like being able to hear that it was maybe a bigger picture issue than just what was going on right there. And so number 1, there's a kind of a purpose behind everything. Like some of the characters, they're angry with one another, but they've always got a reason. A lot of modern movies, people will just be angry for no reason, and they'll argue for no reason. I'm like, what's your motive? Why are you being like that?
Yeah.
They all had reasons for what they were doing. I mean, some wanted to stay inside, some wanted to get out and get away, and there was purpose behind everything that was going on in there. So, in some of my other reviews, I've actually been talking about some of the actors that have been in some other zombie productions. Mm-hmm. There's no way I can do that with this film. This bit would be like longer than anything else. So, like George Romero has directed at least 6 zombie movies. John Russo has he wrote novels associated with Night of the Living Dead, and his book Return of the Living Dead was bought and turned into the Return of the Living Dead movie, and he was in Uncle John as a Zombie and all these other things. And so Judith O'Dea, Russ Steiner, Kira Shawn, and a lot of others have been in so many things. I couldn't even go through that whole list. So I'm not going to try. Not going to try. Although I do have a short that I'll be reviewing later that did have Kira Shawn in a little cameo role in it. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
All right.
But, so I'm going to say that this is like one of the classic zombie films. For anybody who's interested in zombie films, of course, it's a must-see. For anybody who's not, I would still say you should probably see it. This is kind of a classic movie. It's very watchable, like much more watchable than White Zombie, which is a much older film, harder to watch. This one is easy to watch, even though it's a black and white movie.
Definitely.
But so you should probably see it.
Probably.
You got mail, I guess. You came by.
I do have mail today. Only one again.
Oh, hey. One is
still
better
no
than
envelope.
5 weeks in a row, and we've had a piece of mail every time.
Every time.
I
like those odds. It's digging it.
And keep sending in the mail, and we'll put the address on here so you can send in more mail if you want.
Do it. We'll read it. We'll put it on here.
Do it.
Also, going back to the lodge paper.
So much for that PSA for recycling we did, right?
Okay.
All right.
So this is from your fan, Richard Johnson.
That guy.
That guy.
Let's see what he has to say.
Okay. It says, "Hey, will you be making Brainfood reviewed merch? T-shirts? Stickers? Also, do you as a zombie have the resources to do that? Your fan, Richard Johnson."
I think that is a distinct possibility that there will be Brainfood reviewed merchandise in the future.
Merch.
And my resources are vast. I may sit here all the time and wait for my mail lady to come in and keep me company, but I do have some pretty vast resources. When I was alive, I had a lot of resources, and they're still out there.
He knows people.
I will reach out to my resources should the need arise, and I just haven't decided yet when that will be, but you can almost count on it. So the short film that I watched and I want to review, it's called Dayplanner of the Dead.
Dayplanner of the Dead.
Dayplanner
It sounds
of the
organized.
It does, doesn't it? It is, I think, a little bit. This is actually a longer short film than the ones that I've reviewed in my other shows. This
How
one's
long?
about 17 minutes long. That's a
that's
long
not
film. It's not a long film, but it's longer than 3 minutes, which was the last one, right?
True.
So it was written by Dean Vanderkolk.
Sorry, what was that?
Vanderkolk.
Colk.
Vanderkolk.
All right.
Dean Vanderkolk.
Vanderkolk.
And it was directed by John Wisniewski.
Goodness gracious.
I know. So, aside from the story and some really nice production values, because it did have some decent production values, there's some notable cameo appearances in this particular film. 3 specifically. One is Kira Shawn, and she played Karen Cooper in Night of the Living Dead. So she's a zombie legend by default.
Alrighty.
Still out there, and you can get her into your short film and have a little cameo there.
Well, there you go.
So, I mean, it was pretty awesome. So she plays zombie Kira in this particular short. Then there's Gary Steiner. Now, he was a sound engineer on Night of the Living Dead, and his brother Russ Steiner was Johnny in the cemetery. So Gary Steiner is in this also, and he plays zombie Gary. So you've got connection to Night of the Living Dead. The last guy's name's Tom Sullivan. And Tom Sullivan did special makeup effects and was the Demon Hands in the original Evil Dead. One of your favorites, I know. One of your favorites.
Definitely one of my favorites.
He was also an animator on Evil Dead 2, and he was the creator and animator of the Book of the Dead in Army of Darkness.
Oh.
I mean, that's pretty awesome, right? So, he played Zombie Tom in the film. I'm like, you got like 3 legends in your movie, and it's a 17-minute movie.
It's almost come full circle.
That's crazy. But anyway, so the whole premise of this is that the zombies eat because they get bored. So if you keep them occupied and doing things, they won't eat you. So the guy figures this out, and it kind of just shows him living his life and doing these things.
Just live your life.
Live your life.
Live your life.
Entertain people, and you don't get eaten. That is the premise of this movie. You can take that morality tale away and apply it to other aspects of your life.
You can take that to the bank.
Take it to the bank. I would say on this one, decent story, good production values, some classic zombie people, and you should probably see it. That's my rating. You should probably see it. There's no link online. You actually probably have to order it from some video store or some place that might sell videos online, or in person if you can find such a place. But we will put the IMDb link up there so you can look at that. So that's that. Dayplanner of the Dead. You'll have to watch it with me sometime.
I definitely will. We have so much to watch.
I know. And there's more and more all the time.
People
keep making zombie films all the time.
All the time.
And I will say, if you make a zombie film, have a short film or something that you would like us to watch and maybe review it, send us a link, let us know about it.
Email
We'll take a
us.
look at it.
Send
We'll
us
give you
a
some
letter.
feedback on it. I'm Onslow the Undead.
I'm Melee, the mostly dead male lady.
This is Brainfood reviewed.